The first bilateral between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Xi Jinping on the sidelines of BRICS summit in 5 years concluded. The meeting between Prime Minister Modi and Xi Jinping holds significance as New Delhi and Beijing announced on Monday that they have agreed to disengage and begin patrolling along the line of actual control in eastern Ladakh, especially at the Depsang and the Demchok plains. This breakthrough ended a 4-year-long military standoff, or perhaps brought in some signs of thaw in that on that front. PM Modi welcomed the truce on the LAC and emphasized that border peace should be priority in meeting with Xi Jinping. Earlier in the day, PM Modi rejected double standards in addressing terrorism and called for a unified approach to combat the menace. The two leaders met for an informal summit in Mahabalipuram in October 2019, months ahead of the Chinese incursions in eastern Ladakh, and triggered a massive military standoff along the line of actual control. They did have pull-aside meetings in Bali in 2022 and Joburg in 2023, but today's meeting is the first proper and structured bilateral meeting. PM Narendra Modi posted on platform X minutes after his meeting with Xi Jinping. PM posted, and I quote, "Met President Xi Jinping on the sidelines of the Kazan BRICS summit. India-China relations are important for the people of our countries and for regional and global peace and stability. Mutual trust, mutual respect and mutual sensitivity will guide bilateral relations."
भारत और चीन के संबंधों का महत्व केवल हमारे लोगों के लिए ही नहीं, लेकिन वैश्विक शांति, स्थिरता और प्रगति के लिए भी हमारे संबंध बहुत अहम है। एक्सेलेंसी, सीमा पार पिछले 4 वर्षों में उत्पन्न हुए मुद्दों पर बनी सहमति का हम स्वागत करते हैं। सीमा पर शांति और स्थिरता बनाए रखना हमारी प्राथमिकता रहनी चाहिए। म्यूचुअल ट्रस्ट, म्यूचुअल रिस्पेक्ट और म्यूचुअल सेंसिटिविटी हमारे संबंधों का आधार बने रहना चाहिए।
Ambassador Pinakaranjan Chakravarti with us, Dr. Olga from the research fellow at the Russian Academy of Sciences with us, and Jennifer Zeng with us. My namaste to everyone. Thank you very, very much. Ambassador Pinakaranjan Chakravarti, your thoughts on this BRICS summit. Is this key? Is Bharat also sending a message across to the West that don't try and bully us, don't try and arm twist us, because this is a bloc that can recalibrate? Even the noises made with respect to Russia, the movement forward with China, are they indicating towards perhaps a certain amount of realignment?
If you believe the Western narrative, that may be so, but I don't believe that. I think India has its own interest in normalizing with China. And it's very simple. We are two large neighbors, the two largest countries in the world, with a disputed border, where we have seen military action in June 2020. And there were problems there, and huge amount of deployment has taken place of the military. And I think we reached a stalemate from which there had to be some arrangement to get out of it. And so if this agreement is implemented properly, I would welcome it, because that would, we have always maintained that peace on the border, while we talk about where the border is, that's why we call it the LAC, is a prerequisite for normal times. And that is what we have insisted. And that is what I think if we can reach that stage. Now, when you say status quo, I do not know whether it will be 100% restored, because deployments have taken place, new civilian and military structures have been created. Will they also be dismantled? I don't know. I mean, I don't think they will be. But at least there's some aspects of patrolling and others which existed at the time when this military action by China took place. I think that would restore some kind of normality, which might lead to various other doors opening, because at the moment there's a bit of a freeze, and there's a lot of problems in travel, there's a lot of problems in visa, investments that want to come in via China are not being allowed. Anyway, so those are some of the problems that could lead to. Now, if you if one wants to interpret it as a signal to the West, that is somebody who's sitting in the West might think so, but
Right.
I don't think that.
You-
And I
you-
think there are other signals also that Russia is trying to create a separate group, separate bloc. And I think Russia has played a role perhaps between India and China.
True, just like India is trying to play a role between Russia and the Ukraine, but with Ukraine having America in the shadows, how much of that is going to manifest till the American entities want, or is the election going to decide all that? There are a lot of moving balls here. But Dr. Olga, how would you look at the BRICS summit and the statements made by some of the leaders, including President Putin? Is this significant, this meeting in Kazan, and why?
Yes, hello everybody. Well, I think that this meeting in Kazan is very, very important because, you know, the BRICS summit is held for the 16th time, but this is the first time summit is held in an expanded format, you know, and the list of participants is quite impressive. And we know that our President Putin holds about 20 bilateral meetings, including with all important major countries that will participate in the summit. So we can see that the Western attempts to isolate Putin kind of failed, and he is among friends and the political and geopolitical allies now. And another thing I think very important is that they are trying now to cope with financial risk and challenges. The creation, basically discussing the creation of a new payment system, because it's likely a priority of an agenda of this year's BRICS summit, because this measure will help BRICS countries to get rid of financial exploitation of the countries of the global south in the international monetary system by the US and the West. And Russia, as the current chair of BRICS, is striving in every possible way to facilitate the integration of new recruits into all cooperation mechanisms. And we see that the Business Council has warmly welcomed representatives from the new member countries, and they in turn have actively joined the work. So the main topic is BRICS and the global south, jointly building a better world. And we all, of course, very welcome that the discussion focuses on current issues of interaction between the world's major states and increasing their role in shaping decisions on the international agenda. And India and Russia have a long history of friendship and cooperation, which is of strategic importance to both countries. And India's participation in BRICS is another channel for strengthening this partnership. Together with Russia, India contributes to the formation of opinions and decision-making within BRICS, which gives the alliance additional weight and authority in the international arena.
True.
And yes,
you know, one of the issues also is that, one, the West paints Russia as an expansionist given its movement into Ukraine. Russia, on the other hand, has a point of view saying that it was NATO that was advancing and trying to even co-opt and engineered a regime change in the Ukraine, and they wanted to land and dock and use Ukraine borders to position their guns. And the only warm water access was via Ukraine for Russia. Otherwise, Russia would have found itself isolated trade-wise, the Sea of Azov and the Black Sea there. But for China, the issue with Bharat is that Bharat does not trust China since the 60s. In fact, even before that, there has been this entire expansionist intent of the PLA and the leadership there, the CCP. But Jennifer Zheng, do you believe there could be a change there? Will economic compulsions and perhaps larger strategic reasons compel President Xi to perhaps back off from the borders and this entire moving into territories?
I think yes and no. Yes is because Xi Jinping does face a lot of challenges, both internationally and domestically, especially the China's economy is going down and the financial system, real estate bubbles. And internationally, of course, I think China is facing a increasingly hostile environment, especially since the pandemic, and many countries are still calling to hold China responsible for the spread of the pandemic. But no is I think is exactly because of the crisis that the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP, is facing. And I think there could generate a greater risk for the CCP to start a war, to bring the country into a war status. That could be viewed as the CCP as the only solution to all its crises, that it can't be solved otherwise. That's why you can see recently the CCP has escalated the military exercises, live fire exercises surrounding Taiwan, and has been very, very aggressive. So I think, yes, I agree at this moment, the global geopolitics is at a very, I think, sensitive and critical moment, and people are talking about World War III has already started. So we do have to watch very, very carefully about what's going on.
So do you foresee China getting aggressive? Because the last time they backed off from Doklam, soon after a bilateral engagement, there was some issue. Even in 2019, after Mahabalipuram and the engagement, then 2020, the Galwan incursion happened. Do you believe that China could perhaps act again, and that India cannot rest easy? We'll always have to be on alert mode.
Yes, I totally agreed because PM Modi talked about mutual trust, mutual respect, and I don't think you can expect any mutual trust and or any respect from China. Actually, I just right after the meeting between Xi Jinping and Modi, I searched on Chinese official media, Xinhua. Xinhua only gave a very short, less than 200-word short report on the meeting, and it didn't mention one word about what PM Modi said during the meeting. It's all only quoted Xi Jinping for saying this or for saying that. So reading that report gave you an expression that Xi Jinping has given a lecture to Modi. And after less than 30 minutes, when I go to Xinhua's main page again, that short report about the meeting between Xi and Modi disappeared from the main page. I had to do a Google search to find that. So they have no photos there. So from the angle of how the Xinhua is reporting or covering this event, it says that China shows no respect or attach no importance, at least in the official propaganda machine, to this meeting. So maybe India thinks this is a great meeting of first in 5 years, but China doesn't put any importance to this.
So that's how the Xinhua or the Chinese state media has reacted to it. To the ladies and the gentlemen, we've got to break away from this conversation. There is a big development that's happened in Turkey.